Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to I'm going to call the meeting to order. 6:30. Roll call, please.
Kelly Jensen here.
Paul's draft here.
Ms. Texoni has texted. She'll be arriving shortly. Vice President, Mr. Wadsworth, will be absent tonight. Tim Jorgensen is here. We have 3 members for a quorum. Item 1C, regular board meeting agenda. Motion to consider.
So moved.
Kelly.
Second.
Dr. Zahaki.
Thank you, Mr. Jorgensen. We don't have any changes to the regular board meeting agenda for September 22nd.
Okay.
Do I do? Can
Board
I,
member discussion.
Mr. President, I would like to pull the minutes from the, or what's the date? What's the date? Sorry. September, no,
September
the August 11th,
August 11th.
isn't it August? I think it's August 11th, right?
August 11th meeting minutes.
Let me, wait, there's. Yes, wait, hold on a second. To pull them up. I apologize. August 25th.
August 11th and
No, August 25th.
August 25th. Just those?
Pardon me?
Just that, just those minutes?
Yes.
Any other board discussion? Okay, so we have a motion to amend the minutes to pull minutes for August 25th. We have a motion by Kelly. I'll second. Call the question.
Kelly Jensen, I.
Paul's draft, aye.
Tim Jorgensen, aye. So the minutes have, the amendment to, we've changed the minutes, the agenda to pull minutes for August 25th. Now, we have a motion for the board agenda for tonight. Kelly's motion, Ken a second. Call the question.
Kelly Jensen, I.
Paul's draft, aye.
Tim Jorgensen, aye. Miss Texoni is absent. Mr. Wadsworth is absent. The vote is 3-0-2. Public participation, Dr. Zahaki.
Mr. Jorgensen. Sorry, Mr. Jorgensen, we have one public comment card.
That comes later though, right?
No, they can make the comment now.
So I can do it now. Okay. Mr. Sparks. State your name for the record. And 3 minutes. No problem.
Good evening, Sheldon Sparks. Thank you for having me here tonight. I really appreciate it. Mr. Jorgensen, thank you for your email last week. Appreciate it. I really do. Took it to heart. Encouraged me, motivated me to come speak tonight. Although I may disagree with the premise that the rationale that you gave, I'm going to respect your wishes here. I want to talk about busing. Busing has been an issue since summertime. We've had high turnover rate in the leadership there, or in the oversight there. Not blaming anybody again. I'm not, sitting there saying that, Sahaki is not doing his job, or Saeed's not doing his job. It's a difficult job. A lot of moving pieces, a lot of moving parts. We've had 5 times that the bus has been late since the beginning of the school year, anywhere from 5 to 20 minutes. And so once a kid gets off the bus, gets into the office, gets his yellow slip, walks down to the campus, comes into the classroom, gives the teacher the yellow slip, comes back to the seat, grabs the Chromebook, comes back to the seat, gets the instructions from his teacher, most of that class is already gone. And so busing is affecting learning at the high school. And I'm gonna assume it's happening at the other schools as well. It's affecting sports. In the turnover between Mrs. Natasha and Wanda and Saeed, there's not a lot of on-the-job training. This job is a lot of moving pieces, a lot of moving parts, and we've made mistakes. And again, I'm the coordinator, I'm the athletic director. I need to have buses there, and I'll take responsibility for buses not being there. But for me to do my job effectively, I need support. And part of support is having buses, having enough drivers. And I know, sir, that you talk about not buying buses, and I totally understand your perspective. I've listened to you a long time. Except part of the problem is those buses are 32 years old and they break down. We hire 2 part-time mechanics to keep them running. And so at some point, we need to replace those buses. And so I look at it and I go, we have a little bit of money in the kitty. And again, it's not my retirement, it's not your retirement, it's not your slush fund, it's not my personal debt. I think it's for things that are important. And I think busing is important. And so I hope you hear my heart tonight. I'm not here accusing anybody, I'm not blaming anybody. I'm literally saying we have an issue, we have a problem. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. That's the only- Sir, I hate to do this. There's a report that they put 31. So okay, can you remember everything you said? Do you really want to hear it twice? Listen, sorry, the public can't hear what you said. And that's a problem. So excuse me, can we find a microphone that works for this gentleman?
I couldn't hear loud if I was.
Yes. Yes, but again, can we find a microphone? I just want to summarize things.
That's better.
Okay.
Can I hold it?
Please.
All right. Good evening, Sheldon Sparks. Thank you for having me here. Appreciate the letter and the correspondence from Mr. Jorgensen. Appreciated his perspective. And although I may not agree with everything, I'm going to respect his wishes. Sorry, Mrs. Jensen. I'm here tonight to talk about buses. We have a busing issue. In my humble opinion, I don't think we have enough buses. I don't think we have enough qualified drivers. And we're asking people to do a really difficult job with no support. We're asking people to perform miracles. That's impossible to have buses when you don't have control. I know I'm kind of rambling, and this is off my guard, so forgive me. My heart is that we understand that this is not just affecting students, it's affecting staff, it's affecting learning, and it's affecting the way we do our jobs, and that frustrates people. If you didn't have all the resources that you need, and you're asking somebody to coordinate something, and every time not every time, but a lot of times when something happens and you make a mistake, it's your mistake, but man, it really isn't my mistake. I need some support. I need to make sure I have the resources to do my job effectively. So I'm here tonight to talk about buses. Please figure out the busing issue. Rent vans, go to Uber. I don't care. But make sure we have buses. And the reason I brought up that budget thing last time wasn't to make a point and rub your nose in it. It was just to say that sometimes I feel like we rob Paul to pay Peter. And we move this guy from here and move him over there. Well, now we just created another problem. So I think if we had enough staffing and we had enough equipment, we had enough training, we had enough support, I think we can solve this problem effectively. So thank you.
President.
Yeah.
Let the record show that I asked Mr. Sparks to repeat his comments the best he could, because there was a report that someone could not hear in the Zoom audience. We should retain all of Mr. Sparks' comments heard and unheard for the record, please.
All righty. Moving on. Item number 3, closed session discussion items. The board, do have a motion to consider?
Kelly Jensen, so moved.
Paul's got a second.
Call the question.
Kelly Jensen, I.
Falls Graph, aye.
Brianna Texoni, aye.
Mr. Wadsworth is absent. Tim Jorgensen, aye. Motion carries 4-0. We'll adjourn to closed session at 6:40. All right, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to reconvene the meeting from closed session at 7:29. And we have a recognition, Dr. Zahakian.
Thank you, Mr. Jorgensen, school board members. I have the honor to introduce our 2022-23 student board member representative from Vasquez High School, Emily Hunanian. She's seated with her family right now. Sorry to put you on the spot, but you're gonna have to get used to it this year. She's a 10th grader at Vasquez and has been a student in our district since 9th grade. She's an outstanding member of our cross-country team for Vasquez, our swim team, and has excellent grades. She's also a member of the National Honor Society and is the vice president of the sophomore class of 2024. She has a love for learning and is enjoying her high school experience at Vasquez. Prior, she attended LAUSD and has shared with Dr. Chamberlain that being at Vasquez High School is a very refreshing change. She has a desire to represent Vasquez High School, as well as High Desert, as well as Meadowlark, and to serve her community as a student board member rep. She likes music and plays the violin. She also enjoys the outdoors, hiking and camping. She likes dogs and is an animal lover. She has a good heart and likes to be there for her friends. And she's currently learning how to crochet. So welcome, Emily. So with that.
Okay, Emily, welcome. Board President, I want to welcome you, but what I'd first like to do is if you could step up here and take a picture with our board members. And then we would like you to have a seat, and then we'll have some board member comments, and then we'll give you an opportunity to introduce yourself, okay? Cool. Board members, if you'll join us up front, please. Again, welcome, Emily, and board member comments, Ms. Jensen.
Emily, welcome. You sound like a very well-rounded young lady, so we welcome you to the board. We look forward to what you have to bring us as far as reports and let us know the happenings at the school. And this is a great step for a great leadership position. So thank you so much. And this is a big opportunity and a lot of volunteer time. So thank you so much. And thanks to your parents. So glad you could be here this evening.
Emily, I'm happy to hear that you're willing to represent your underclassmen, kindergartners. They always have the best ideas because they don't get messed up by adults yet. So talk to them, get their direction for us, and it'll probably make the most sense. Welcome aboard.
I'm super excited that you're here, and I just want to thank you for being willing to take on this huge role as a leader for your school and for your whole district. So thank you very much. Thank you to your parents for allowing you to take the time out of your academics and your sports to be here. I'm super excited to have you. So thank you.
Okay, Emily, I want to make sure I get this right. Your last name, is it pronounced Hunanian, or how is that pronounced? Hunanian. Okay, I'll make sure that I keep that accurate. I want to welcome you aboard. This is something that's really terrific that we have student representatives that can come in and bring some of the students' concerns and activities and events from all three of our campuses, gives you an opportunity to go back and visit some of our other campuses in between. And we will give you time off for cross-country. We'll let you leave early for studies, but everything else you gotta be here now. Okay. Anyway, welcome, Mom and Dad. Congratulations to you and having her, allowing her to participate in this. This is a significant event for them to put on their transcript when they get ready to go to college. And so welcome aboard, Emily. It's gonna be a pleasure. And as the first item of business, room 4A, if I could have our new student rep lead us in the pledge of allegiance, please. Item 4B, civility statement. Ms. Jensen, could you read the civility statement for us, please?
Communicate clearly and concisely with a respect for the time of others, listen objectively, carefully considering the opinions of others, understand the counterparty effects of disruptive, demeaning, and intimidating behaviors, and understand and respect district policies and procedures, and maintain a respect for the rich history of the district and the efforts of others who have served in the past.
Thank you, Ms. Jensen. Item 5A, report on closed action. The board will consider and may act on any of the following items in closed session. Any action taken in closed session will be reported in open session as required by law. Closed session may be called at any time during a formal meeting by a motion of the Board of Education for the purpose of discussing personnel problem, pupil problem, a purchase, consultation on legal problem with an attorney, and with employee organizations in regards to salaries, fringe benefits. All formal action taken on such matters must be made in open meeting. It's my responsibility to report that no action was taken during this closed session. Item 6, public comments and recognitions and reports. Dr. Zahakian.
Mr. Jorgensen, we have 2 public comment cards. Stand by. We have five. For the record, we have 3 public comment cards. Thank you.
Okay, our first commenter would be Miss Marilyn Alford. If you could step to the podium. And before, is she here, Marilyn? Hold on. With the submission of a reading of the cards exhibit on the agendized, you can speak on an agendized item or a non-agendized item. And not more than 3 minutes are allotted to any one speaker, and no more than 20 minutes on the same subject. This portion of the agenda is for comments and recognitions and reports to the board. It is not intended to be a question and answer period. If you have questions for the board, please provide the board president with a written copy, and an administrator will provide answers at a later date. Ms. Alford is not here. Meredith Fallgetter. Hey, I got it right. I'm sorry. So just state your name for the record, please.
Meredith Fallgater. And there's my son Drew. He's a student at High Desert in the 5th grade class with no teacher. And I guess 2 weeks ago, we came and there was a grand plan to have the TOSA strategically pushed into his class, which didn't happen until this morning. So that was like a full 10 days before any of that happened. And today there was an unfilled sub position. And there were 3 different subs in his room today, one of which was a classified employee that was in there for an hour and a half, which is actually against the law to have a classified person in the room that long without a sub. By the end of the day, he said about 7 people had lunch detention, people were in and out of the office, and it just kind of deteriorated. So I have very high hopes of what the district has promised for that classroom, But on to a day like today, to me, that's a crisis. When there's no one present for our children. And I don't know how many kids are in there, 35, 36, 37, who have no teacher whatsoever, no long-term sub, no substitute, no credentialed person at all for an hour and a half in their room. I know that the district is doing absolutely everything they can to fill that position, but I just think that more needs to be done in the interim. I know that there is a plan that was pushed out to all the parents today to have the TOSAs come in 5 days a week. But on days like today, my hopes just like plummet because there they were in a room without any teacher whatsoever, no one that they were accountable for. And what happened was they all just ended up in trouble because there was no one there for them. And I'm just afraid that the longer this goes on, that it's going to be a group of kids that are going to be extremely hard to manage. And I guess I'm just really disappointed that nothing was done in an emergency like this. And it's upsetting to me. I know that you'll speak later about all the grand plans that we have, but I think right now it has to be day by day. What are we going to do on Friday if there's a situation like this? What happens on Monday, Tuesday? Because each day that passes that they are left unattended is a day that they lose learning, their behavior gets worse, they come home having a really bad day. So that's all I have to say for now. Hopefully there's other comments. Thanks.
Thank you. Next comment, Tracy Constant. Please state your name for the record for Tracy, please.
Tracy Costin. I'm going to make it brief this evening because Mr. Wadsworth isn't here. I believe the persons coming up to the podium to speak, whether they're teachers or if they're parents who are not only your constituents, but community members, whether you like them or not, that's not your job as a board member. You are serving everyone. So I believe their issues should be addressed by someone, whether a district office person or a board member. After they speak in the near future, at some point, they should be addressed. I've mentioned this before. In the past, we've had board members that have contacted constituents one-on-one. This board tends to not do that. I don't know why. Additionally, when persons like Jackie Eyre from the town council come up here, or your ADA representative, Mr. Sparks, whom I believe them to be persons of high integrity. I hope when they raise concerns that they are addressed at some point. And that's all I'm going to say for right now. Thank you.
Thank you. Six feet golden spotlight, Dr. Zahaki.
Thank you. We have great representation from Meadowlark Elementary, so thank you for being out here this evening. Great to see all your faces. As we continue with our district recognitions at our board meetings, we're looking to celebrate Meadowlark Elementary this evening. Tonight, we are recognizing staff members and a student from Meadowlark. I'd like to go ahead and turn it over to our principal, Ms. Moynihan. If you could come up to the podium. We have a certificated staff member who will be recognized this evening, a classified staff member, and an amazing fourth grader from Meadowlark. So Ms. Moynihan, please.
I'm so excited to be here and to recognize amazing brilliance at Meadowlark. So I'm going to start with our certificated staff member, Ms. Scheidig. She's a fourth grade teacher at Meadowlark. Ms. Scheidig goes above and beyond every single day. She welcomes all students into her class and works incredibly hard to meet the needs of every single one of her students. If her student has a special need, she reaches out to everyone to make sure that she is meeting every need for that student and then does it for each one of the kids in her class. All of her lessons are so engaging. I walk into her class and just wish I could stay there all day. Sometimes they're doing marble, like roller coasters. Sometimes they're planning how to do just honestly, just amazing off the wall things that are so engaging to the kids and really get them involved in their learning. And so I just really wanted to honor what an amazing teacher Miss Scheidig is. So everyone give her a round of applause. Make her stand up too. Okay, Miss Scheidig, you must stand up. So everybody can. And I also want to thank you, Ms. Scheidegg, for all of the hard work you do. All of those extra hours you put in, all of your patience, all of your dedication, how much you care for each and every one of your students. It's so evident every single day. Thank you. Next, I have a classified staff member, Ms. Crystal Harder. Crystal is an intervention aide, and she works in our intervention class, helping students to learn phonics and phonemic awareness, learning how to read. But Crystal is so much more. Every day she comes to work and jumps into any problem that arises, and she wants to help. She will volunteer her time to learn how to do just amazing, extra wonderful things. She is always so positive with all of the students and all of the staff members. She really wants us to come together as a community to support all students. And honestly, I can't say enough good things about Crystal because she's just so amazing and jumps in and does like everything. Honestly, every morning I look forward to, because we have our little 10 minutes out together while we're waiting for the buses to come. That boost from Crystal and her positivity make my day much better. So Crystal, you have to stand up. I want to thank you so much for all that you do for Meadowlark. You are really one of the pillars that is really holding us up. And thank you. And last but not least, I wanted to honor our 4th grade student, Maximus Davis. So Max is just this really amazing kid who is always really happy. He is at school, he is friendly, he is kind. And the reason I really want to honor him today is because he is so dependable and shows so much character at school. When I need a helper, like I need an older peer helper to help a student who's in kindergarten or a student with special needs, I can always depend on Max. I can say, hey, Max, little Johnny, he really needs help to get to the TK yard. Can you help him? And he does it with such a big smile, even with other peers around, and encourages his peers to help other students as well. This includes students with special needs. He will stand by them and be their friend and help them to their bus. He is so dependable and he is so kind and so honorable that I really needed to honor him tonight. So Max, you have to stand up now. Max, I really want to honor you by saying thank you for being a student role model at Meadowlark.
Thank you, Ms. Moynihan. And I have to echo her sentiments as well. Although I haven't met Max one-on-one, I'm sure he does outstanding things at Meadowlark, and he's a fantastic role model for all of his peers at Meadowlark. But I do have to say, for Ms. Scheidegg, anytime I've dropped into the classroom, I mean, the epitome of professionalism, the engagement with your students, and the care that you take for your students is evident on a daily basis. Thank you so much. I want to echo some of the words that Ms. Moynihan mentioned. You are all pillars for our school district, and we want to thank you and appreciate you this evening. And with that, if our honorees could come up for a photo with our board after board comments, is that what we'd like to do? Board comments.
Well, I think we've heard the last few weeks and since COVID, how difficult teachers' jobs are and how things have been really tough on people. So it's so nice to hear how positive you both are, Ms. Harder and Ms. Scheidegg. That's just such a quality that's so needed right now. And so I just want to thank you. And every time I've been in your class as well, you're just always so positive and just so kind. You just you feel welcome the minute you walk in your classroom for anyone, including board members or whoever comes to your classroom. So thank you for that. And Max, you probably don't know this, but I remember going to, I think it was like the winter program, and you were singing your heart out. And I just thought you are just, I don't want to say you were so cute because that might embarrass you in the fourth grade. You were, I just remember you, you were the best part of the whole program. And I remember watching you. So, and I just want to say the qualities of being kind to other people is so important, and don't lose that no matter how old you get or how grown up you get, because that's really a quality that not everyone has. So that's something really important that will take you far. And sometimes you don't realize a kind gesture or just being kind to another person, you may just go about your day because you just have a kind heart. But to that person, sometimes you make their whole week or their whole month, or you make a really big difference in their life that you might not realize you're doing. So keep that up. That's a really great quality to have. So I just want you to not lose that. Look at that cute smile. Still adorable. I remember you.
I'm gonna keep it together here. I have a daughter that many of the kids know. Her name is Tammy.
She was given a prognosis that her cognitive level would not exceed 7 months of age at adulthood. She was not ambulatory until she was 5 years old. Ms. Scheide, you have been Tammy's homeroom teacher, I don't know how many times. It's harder every time I see you. You've got something good to say about my daughter. And because of you all, Tammy has transitioned into Dr. Chamberlain's world with people back there. You have made my daughter, who has never said the word daddy in her entire life, part of your community. Take that one home. Max, I don't know anything about you other than your little sister is over here clapping for you. So that speaks to your character in my book. As long as you don't have to pay her to do that, you're batting 100% at your age. Congratulations, young man. Brianna.
I definitely noticed the two cuties in the front row when I first sat down. So it's nice to see everybody here. Max, I noticed when you saw your name come up on there, how proud you were to see your name. I saw your face and I saw your smile, and that made me smile. The qualities that have been described about you, those are things that you can't teach that. You can't, those are just in you, and those are going to carry you so far in life. And I know when you are a teenager and a young man, you are just going to be that kind-hearted person, and you're going to carry that with you because that's who you are. And I'm so glad that you came to share some of that with us tonight. So thank you so much, and keep that up. And the smiles are just adorable. So thank you for being here. Crystal, positivity, a little bit of positivity on a campus goes a long way, but when you bring the positivity and you bring the light, that is huge. And there's hundreds of kids on that campus that you are lighting up, and for the staff too. So thank you for bringing that every day. Some days we don't feel like bringing it. So thank you for doing that and sharing your kindness and your light and your positivity with those around you. Miss Gabby, known you for a little while, and you have been my kids' teacher. Just seeing you when I walked out of closed session, just seeing you in the audience made me excited. I get excited every time I see you. You're always so positive, and you are such a joy to be around. When I was a mom and a staff member, you made my day. I know you changed my child's life. When you had Hunter for 3rd grade and then for 4th grade, the difference in my kid, because of the way that you approached his needs, you made him a different person. You made him able to deal with life at such a young age and able to find where he needed to adjust himself, and you helped him through that, and sitting in meetings with you, it's clear how much you care about every single person around you, students, staff, parents. Olivia still tells stories about your animals, not so much the lessons that are amazing in your class, which I know she remembers because she's smart, but it's the personal stories about the animals and about your life and how much she connected with you through the love of animals. That made a huge difference for her. So thank you for continuing to be incredible.
Hi, Gabby, haven't seen you in a few years, yeah. But what you do is like such a strong commitment and the high energy you bring to your classroom. I remember from years ago, we would sit in meetings and PDs and come into each other's classes and share ideas, and you were always the bundle of energy. So I am so pleased that you're able to be recognized for the hard work that you have done for years and years, and you're still doing it. And so congratulations to you. I know that you've made a difference in hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of children across the board. Crystal, I haven't known you as long, but I hear great things. And if it's anything like what Gabby's doing, the two of you working together, super that you're recognized for the energy and the positive attitudes that you bring to your students over there. So thank you both for that. And little Max, that's not little Max, it'll be big Max, man. What you do is just so courageous. And it's really unique that a young person of your age can be willing to do that amongst their peers to help out their other students that may need guidance at the request of an adult. That's super, man. That is going to be really huge for you as you go forward. There are going to be teachers going to be looking for you to want to have them in your class when they get to high school, because they know they're going to have a real dependable person there with character and integrity. So congratulations to you, and thank you, Mom and Dad, for allowing us to experience his gratitude. It's really super. Thanks. Yeah, let's go and get a picture with these fine folks.
That is my perfect friend. It was very fun. Talk about energy. Oh my goodness. Item 7A, how to representative, Mr. Sparks.
Sorry.
Good evening. Thank you, Sheldon Sparks, ADA president. Just wanted to give a shout out to some Meadowlark teachers. They've been stressed out, to say the least, working in not ideal conditions, large classrooms, coming out of COVID, feeling a little burdened with that, stressed with that. And then coming into this year, they had high hopes of just a more normal, more calm year. And so wanted to give them a shout out. You guys, ladies are doing awesome. Hang in there. Shiloh, congratulations. Oh, there you are, you're here. Congratulations. I'm very pleased to have you on campus. Teachers are awesome. So appreciate that you support us so very much. Thank you very much. Dr. Sahakian, thank you. I've seen you grow over the last 13 months. Appreciate that you are building relationships. I appreciate that you're giving vision. I appreciate that you're listening. Thank you that you are a different perspective. Hope that we can continue to move together and grow together and move this organization forward as partnering. But I just appreciate what I've seen over the last 3 months. So thank you. Last couple of weeks, I wasn't here last week. Ms. Alford was. At the beginning of the year, our board asked for more positivity. They sat there and said, I want teachers in here. I want students in here. I want more positive. And so we've taken that approach. We really have. Mrs. Alford's done a great job. She's the good cop, however, I'm the bad cop. And so I try to be positive. I really do give a shout out to as many people as I can. But I also got to be realistic. I'm the Acton Union president. I'm not just representing Vasquez. I'm representing all 3 schools and all 3 sites. And what we're seeing and what we're sensing this year is Acton members are not happy. I'm going to be honest with you. We came in from last year. We cut staff 2-3 years ago. We divided up their workload amongst the staff that was left. And now we're fighting over compensation. Still haven't figured that out. That's a frustration amongst Acton members. They are asking us to do more. When we ask TOSA to do more, I have a whole list of what TOSA does. And I'm going to read that because I think it's important to be tactful. And ma'am, I'm not trying to disrespect you in any way, shape, or form. Okay, they do teacher support, they do CAPS coordinator, they do virtual program oversight, they do LPAC, they do IEC compliance, independent study, STORE, math intervention, initial assessments, instructional technology. They do LCAP, reading intervention. They facilitate IEPs, textbook adoption, MTSS, school-wide screening. We do case management. We do AVID. We do SEIS navigation support. We do assessment accommodations. We mentor SPED teachers. We write goals. We progress monitor. We staff develop. And we do another about 20 things that I don't want to bore you with. So when we ask teachers to do more, we have more than stepped up. We have partnered. When you ask for teachers to show up, we're here tonight. We are, and we're singing your praises. We love this district. We love this school. Our message has been consistent. If I gripe about anything, it's how we treat our employees, right? And I think that, and again, I'm not blaming anybody. It's just the culture sometimes. And so when we're asking teachers to do more, how can we do more when we're already to the breaking point? I'm so thankful that you guys are hiring more teachers. Thank you. I guess we start tomorrow. I'm thrilled about that. I guess we got another one in the works, and if they're going down to Meadowlark. The problem is that we still got teachers who are going to have large class sizes. And you're asking a first grade teacher to teach reading to a class of 31, 32. Yes, that is below the CBA, and that's fantastic. That's great for Mr. Mirza, sorry, but it's not so good for teachers. It's not so good for student performance. And so again, we ask TOSAs and teachers to do a lot, and we share our burden. We're tired of fighting to be compensated. I think she stated it best. She can go get $25,000 somewhere else. We're the second lowest paid district in LA County. And again, I'm not sitting here saying pay us, pay us, pay us. But when you sit there and you ask us to do more, and we're fighting to get paid for what we have done, I think we get a little burned out. I think we feel a little underappreciated. I think we feel like nobody's listening to us. I feel like we think the grass is greener somewhere else. And so you have a group of teachers who are disgruntled, they're unhappy, and then they're asked to work more, and then they're asked to work even harder. When are the teachers not going to solve the problems that the district is creating? And I don't mean that disrespectfully, guys, I really don't. But we have to make cuts to the budget, so teachers need to step up. We have too many kids in classrooms, and teachers have to step up. And again, we will. That's what we do as human beings. That's just who we are in our DNA. We're not going to sit there and gripe to our parents about it. We're not going to gripe to our students about it. We're going to gripe to you about it, because that's my job. That's our job. And so please hear me. I don't just come up here and stand on the box for Sheldon Sparks. I'm so sorry that that's what you believe, sir. That is never, ever, ever who I want to represent. I represent my union. I try to do it the best I can. I said it a couple of weeks ago. This is not a career advancement for me. This is not helping me earn any points with my boss and my leaders and my leadership. I do this because this is the right thing to do, and teachers need to be heard, and you need to see another perspective sometimes. And I'm sorry that my shtick comes across sometimes and it just might rub you the wrong way. Mr. Falcraft, you had a shtick and you rub people the wrong way too, but that doesn't mean I discount or we discount what you have to say. And I hope you don't discount what I have to say just because of my shtick. So thank you again for bringing us here. Appreciate each and every one of you. I know this district, this job is difficult. Hey, shout out to Mr. Zaidi. Sir, I'm so sorry you took that job, but we'll manage it together. Hey, we got this. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Mr. Sparks. CSEA representative? Not here tonight. Student representative.
First of all, I want to thank you all for the warm welcome and introduction. I'm very excited and honored to be serving this position. I have just a little bit prepared, just a little snippet of what's been going on in our school so far. So last Friday, Vasquez had our homecoming game. There were some fantastic floats. High Desert had one as well. Saturday night, ASB hosted the first dance of the year, homecoming. It was definitely a well-attended event, very fun. On Monday, High Desert's volleyball team hosted a game against Knight Prep Academy, and the girls took a victory. It's very nice. Tuesday, Dr. Chamberlain showed around some High Desert volleyball students for Shadow Day. They were able to go to various classrooms around the campus and see what they're going to be transitioning into, and they were able to watch our volleyball team play. Cross country also had a meet that day. Our girls took the victory, got first place with a score of 25. Leilani McClaws, a Vasquez runner, got first place. So congratulations to all the runners. And this Wednesday, Dr. Chamberlain hosted a grade level assembly for all the students at Vasquez, going over the student handbook and just expectations for us as students. She shared a concern she had with the amount of tardies that we've been receiving at school, and announced that we will be doing tardy sweeps on Mondays. And she reported that one day after that announcement, the level of tardies went significantly low from a group of students to maybe one or two. So that's very nice. Thank you.
Superintendent Gold Standard report, Dr. Zahaki.
Well, it's hard to, follow Ms. Unanian. So thank you for that, Emily. All right, student achievement. Vasquez High School proudly held their back to school night last week, September 14th. Got some photos there. I crashed a few classrooms, so thank you, teachers, for accommodating me. Parents, students, and staff started their class rotations with period 1 at 6:34 p.m. The back to school night concluded with a question and answer session with Dr. Chamberlain, and parents and anybody who wanted, that time with Dr. Chamberlain. A big shout out and thank you to the Vasquez teachers, staff, classified, certificated for such a well-organized evening. So thank you for all that you do. I'd like to also provide a quick update for our High Desert 5th grade class with the long-term substitute. Ms. Fallgatter, I just want to thank you for your advocacy for not only for your child, but for all students of our district. So thank you. In the past 2 weeks, we've had potential teacher candidates to potentially fill the position or positions that unfortunately did not come to fruition, not on our end. We're clamoring and fighting for the same candidate pool with other districts. Nationwide, there's 56,000 teacher vacancies. So it's pretty tough out there. As of today, the 5th grade class received push-in and preparatory support from 2 TOSA teachers. And this will continue until a permanent classroom teacher credentialed is identified for the classroom, and the TOSAs will push in 5 days a week. They lend lesson planning, classroom management, and best practices type of support to the classroom. HR, thank you, Ms. Shah, for your diligent recruitment efforts for the existing vacancies. As a district, we remain steadfast in making sure that we're providing high quality instruction for all of our students for our district. Moving forward, thank you. Effective instruction and leadership. We have a photo of TOSA Ms. Nicole Chun. With a continued focus on professional development and for amazing classified staff members, a training was held on September 13th here at the DO. This tailored PD was intended for our front office classified staff, both at the district office, as well as our amazing school site office staff. The PD was led by our TOSA, Ms. Nicole Chun, and organized by Ms. Yolanda McCauley, my executive assistant. The PD was focused on Google and introducing Aludo sessions. In addition, a focus on Word doc and Sheets, an overview of Gmail and Google Drive, along with Excel and slides. For the next staff training, the continued effort will be for staff to bring in their areas of specific needs that they might have pertaining to their specific roles at their sites or at the DO, which will include also Google Slides, Sheets, or documents. Ms. Chun and Ms. McCauley will be working on a shared space to gather all of this information so that information could be shared in terms of best practices from site to site for our classified staff. So thank you to everyone for putting this together. Community engagement. Ms. Unanya mentioned the homecoming game of last Friday. So we have a couple of pictures to share from the Vasquez homecoming game of September 16th. Thank you to our wonderful family, students, and community members and alumni for their support at the game last Friday. It was well attended. Kudos to our student athletes, coaches, our athletic director, Mr. Sparks. In addition, thank you, Ms. Torres, ASB advisor, and your fantastic ASB students for their diligence and hard work for putting this all together, including the successful turnout of the homecoming dance of last Saturday. Thank you, Mr. Jorgensen. This concludes my report.
COVID-19 reports, Dr. Zahakian.
We go to highlights to COVID. All right. LA County is now at a low risk status, which is good news all across LA County. Although our risk is low, it is good to remember that COVID-19 claimed the lives of 97 individuals in LA County just last week alone. And we should all be taking precautions to keep each other safe. In the Acton and Agua Dulce surrounding areas, there have been 7 new cases this past week. In our school district community, we've had 8 positive cases last week, and exposure notifications have been sent out due to those exposures. Our employees received some good news. We'll take good news last Monday that the requirement to test if not vaccinated have been rescinded. So that mandate has gone away. We do, however, encourage all of our staff, vaccinated or not, to test if they have symptoms, of course, no matter how mild, in order to keep community safe. Every school site has COVID-19 test kits for students and staff who ask for one. Enhanced health clinics have started again. Tuesday was our 3rd clinic, and our next one occurs October 4th from 2 to 4 at the district office here. They also offer the new COVID-19 booster for adults, COVID-19 child booster, first and second COVID-19 shots, Tdap, and HPV vaccines. On a side note, I want to thank immensely our district nurse, Nurse Carrie Wright, for your care, not only for our students, but staff as well. It's ongoing, so your support, your guidance, and your expertise is immensely appreciated. So thank you so much.
7F submissions. Dr. Zahakian.
We don't have any submissions, Mr. Ferguson.
Board member comments. 8A, Ms. Jensen.
I don't have a lot this evening. I just want to welcome Emily again, and great job on your first report. You're just a few things and you just rattled that off the top of your head. I see you had notes, but you really didn't read them. So very impressed. So thank you so much. The great job. I'd like to just let Mr. Sparks know that we appreciate all of his comments for our teachers. We do love our teachers and we appreciate all that we do. And so, Ms. Shop, you can let your TOSAs know that we do understand. I understand all the things that they do. My current position where I work, I oversee TOSA, so I understand that they do many things behind the scenes that people don't realize. So please express my gratitude to them as well. And we'll continue to keep looking for a teacher. And thank you, Mrs. Shop. You can I know you are keeping at it and doing everything we can to get some teachers. So we appreciate that. Last night I went to, was it last night? Yeah, last night I went to La Cabana to support our cheerleaders. I had the pleasure of going to a homecoming game, sitting on the 50-yard line, forgot what it was like to be a cheerleader. They were adorable and they did a great job. So high energy, those girls. So it was fun to watch them and be at the game and just see all the great floats. And first time that High Desert was able to go to the do their floats. So it was fun to watch because I know some kids are very shy. And some of those kids on the back of the trailer, I saw another side of them that I've never seen before. I'm not going to call them out personally, but I did tell their parents, whoa, I've never seen that side of your child before. So it's great to see them enjoying the high school experience. And I know many kids in the community that were looking forward to the dance. So thank you, Dr. Chamberlain, because it's a lot being a high school principal and doing all of these activities. So just really fun to watch and everyone had a great time. And it was great to see the community out supporting all of our kids, even people that don't have kids at our high school. So that was really fun to watch. And congratulations for cross country. I saw that in Facebook. That was really exciting to see as well. And just so if any parents are listening, attendance is so important. And so tardy sweeps are not fun for the principal to have to do, but it was great to hear that the kids were going to school on time. So if parents can get their kids to school on time, it's very disruptive. Earlier, Mr. Sparks made some comments about, when kids are late and bringing the slip and things like that. And it's really disruptive to a school site to stop what they're doing. And if parents can just do their best, circumstances and things happen, but attendance is so important. So just thanks for everyone that's working so hard. It's a lot. We've said before, education has just been really tough the last little bit. So just appreciate everything everyone does. So that's all I have for this evening.
Good evening. I'll start off by saying, Ms. Moynihan, thank you for representing your team members the way you do. Yes, I appreciate that very much. Again, I know many of you. I can personally attest the impact you've had on my children's life. Did you have Kendra? No one had Kendra. Kendra's doing really, really well. I'll send her back to thank everybody at Meadowlark because that's where it all started. Especially Miss Kotler. Miss Kotler had a huge impact on that girl's life. Okay, here we go. Good stuff first. I attended the open house on VHS, the VHS open house. Dr. Chamberlain, your team did a wonderful job. It was professional, it was organized, and it was very comfortable. I don't want to get into any personal details here, but I have a great deal of confidence that your team at Vasquez is ready to offer an educational opportunity regardless of what the child's capacity is. They have never said that about another school. Thank you. Okay, the family night at High Desert on September 15th was incredible. When I went to back to school night, I knew that the teacher, it was payday for me from the teacher for what I'd done in the classroom. If you've ever seen any of my videos, you'll see that there's a picture of George Washington with a cigarette in his mouth. Don't ask me what that's all about. I went to a back to school night and my parents were informed that I had somehow, anyway, it was a very stressful night for me because it was not about anything but me getting in trouble. And when you offer the kind of venue you guys had the other night, it kind of reminded me of Palmdale has an evening in the square where there's a lot of different people and there's games and stuff. And it was just like a community event. It was nothing to do with school per se, other than people having the opportunity to say, if you go to school here, there's cool stuff like this going on. Now, I know that everybody did a full day that day, the teachers, the staff, but yet they were still there representing our school, not as a teacher, but as a community member. And that is something that I would like to see happen more often, because it really says these people are people, they're good people, and you can trust your kids when you drop them off here. You can't buy that kind of publicity. So Principal Van Ornament, all the staff that were there, you did an incredible job. It's a magnificent thing. I saw that night. Okay, now boring reports. I attended the Zoom meeting. Adina, thank you for your work. I attended the Zoom meeting for the high-speed rail project. I presented some concerns about the daylighting of tailings or spoils, as the project engineers referred to. That's the stuff when you dig a tunnel, this big thing produces all this stuff, and it's like hundreds of feet under the ground for a reason, probably because it's not good for kids to breathe. And from what I'm seeing, it's going to daylight somewhere around high desert. So I told them, part of my day work is I'm on the metro project. I have access to drilling under Beverly Hills. So I kind of have a little understanding of that, along with the fact that I used to work deep wells in Oklahoma and Texas that were 18,000 feet deep. So my concern is when that stuff comes into the air, it seems like there was a lot of trucks hauling stuff out of, whenever they build a stadium, it all shows up here. And I'm sure everybody requests it, but there's a lot of stuff in there that I don't want to see. So what I ask is that the project engineers, when they have the town council meeting in Acton, that they be ready to address my specific concerns. That was just a small fragment of the work that's being done by the community. You all know Jackie Air. She's a whiz at environmental science. She presented a myriad of concerns about wells and groundwater contamination and where the water is coming from to feed this giant thing. So fortunately for all of us outside the school district, the Acton Town Council and the Agua Dulce Town Council were represented there very well. I attended the Los Angeles County School Trustees Association meeting as this district's representative on September 19th and heard from a gentleman named Anton Junghair, who is the executive director of the California Association of Bond Oversight Committees, who spoke on some of the policies and procedures that cause residents who are taxpayers not to feel good about, number one, bonds, and number two, that bonds that have been passed and not administered well. And they felt the big problem was that the school boards that oversee the bond committees don't provide enough objectivity and independence on the bond committees for there to be adequate oversight. So in other words, policies like we need to see the bond committees bylaws, we can remove people at will for any reason. So there was a lot of concern here. I attend all the meetings, whether I agree with the topic or not, but it made me think of the Vasquez High School project. We had a great oversight committee, and we ended up spending, I think it was, we had $38 left, and all of it was accounted for, and the audit findings were incredible, and there was none of the kind of problem they're talking about here. Okay, up to the less pretty stuff. Mr. Sparks, I sit on union rep. I don't negotiate. The union sends me in on very difficult and touchy cases where people like me do things worse than the things I would do. So I get the bad guy thing. I get the bad cop thing. It is your job to represent people who are coming into classrooms, especially fresh out of college, and seeing first grade students that are not socialized at all. And there's a whole room full of them. I'm saying things that maybe I shouldn't say, and I'm not being specific, but I understand what it's like to go through 2 years of changes, weekly, daily, monthly, not know what you should do, and then go into a new world where everything you've based on the past, your performance as an employee suddenly changes, and then there's all this new stuff. It becomes very easy not to know that you're the great teacher that you were 2 years ago before all the rules changed, and the rules are still changing. And so, Mr. Sparks, I hear you, I appreciate you. If I'm at work, I am you. So we won't take it personally. Let's talk about a few things that I do take personally. I know that sitting up here with my boyish good looks and wonderful charm, I don't rub everybody the right way. And when I do things that offend people, I'll be the first one to come and see them face to face. In fact, I had to go meet with somebody the other day that I thought I had offended. So this should happen more often than it does, but anyway. I can be responsible for my own problems that I create, but I don't enjoy misrepresentations of broader board policy and district issues. Let me give you a couple. First off, there's some chat out there about what I feel about governance training. I'm not a believer in rhetorical experience to be able to sit up here. We do not tell the superintendent what to do because somebody sits up there. I don't just change policy. It's not good governance. There are things that make it bad. There are things that are legally wrong with it. So I'm up here advocating for new board members who are coming on or board members who have not had the opportunity to take the California School Boards Association governance training class. It's 5 sets. They break it up virtually. Each one has 2 offerings to fit someone's schedule. And we can't always get to schedule in. I was on the board 2 years before I could complete it. But at the end of the day, it is the standard for school board training in the state of California. I can sit up here and show you my Raggedy Ann and Raggedy Ann decoder ring, tell you I got a certificate of some attendance or something from 1995, or even tout that I have 21 years of personal experience looking at commissions and city councils and say that I have enough government ability and governance ability to be a substitute. That is not true. The California School Boards Association Masters of Governance Training is what you need to be an effective board member. What I'm asking for is this district, knowing that barring some unfortunate event, that the people who are going to join us at the end of November, early December, have the opportunity to go that training because it's offered now. And when it happens now, if the district attorney says we can't pay for this with taxpayer funds, then at least consider offering the board members the ability to self-fund until the point where they sit up here and sworn in and they're recompensed. I'm looking for a full board that is trained to know what to do so we can put some of these confusions away that result in misconceptions that we're communicating to the community. Next, I want to talk about financial certification. Gentleman back there sat up here last meeting. I run him through the ringer about every tiny thing. I did that so people that don't know what it looks like don't join this board uninformed. That's why I did it. I didn't make any popularity contest. I ended up being bashed in the newspaper over it. But let's talk about the reality of financial certification. It's being said out there that negative financial certification is a tactic to avoid addressing immediate issues such as teacher layoffs and schools closing. Well, let me tell you this. Negative financial certification simply means this: you cannot pay your current debts or the debts for the foreseeable 2 years. When that happens, the county comes in and issues one of these. It's called a FCMAT report, a Fiscal Crisis Assistant Management Team. I have another one here from Einstein from the same year, when both of those organizations are having financial issues that affected this district even to today. So my point here is, if I'm going to be criticized, do not criticize me for things that people did in 2014 and 2016. Do not make misrepresentations. When I go like this, when I'm talking, see this, there will be a link to something someone said when I air this on YouTube. And you might find it interesting because people have a tendency to want to go back and change the rhetoric on something that happened in the narrative on something 6 and 8 years ago. I'm not sure why it doesn't affect us now. We've already taken care of most of it. But at the end of the day, please do not make misrepresentations. What this says is what was going on at the time. It told you the financial issues, and they're here. I can sit up here and say, oh, I'm smarter than everybody in the County Office of Education. It's a moot point. Same way with this one. I find it difficult to take financial criticism and analysis from people who sat on one of these boards and rode it into the ground financially and dumped the debts on the backs of this district, its students, and ultimately its staff. And that is most evidenced by the little bit that came out last week or last meeting, when the gentleman said there's $133,000 that was held, basically in escrow for 5 years on this charter, because they were anticipating there would be additional payouts for liabilities related to that charter. They were sped liabilities. And again, someone stood up and told us, well, that wasn't going to happen. So let's catch up. Let's realize that when you kick the can down the road by saying, oh, we chose negative certification because we didn't want to do this. Well, all that did was push the layoffs down the road. It pushed the court testimonies, the grand jury investigations, the charter related lawsuits, the findings by judges, the payouts. It just pushed that down the road. That's all it did. And we all lived that. So don't characterize me as being responsible for other people's thing. Now, to put this in mind, this year, this 2014, this district, there were tons of other ones experiencing the same problem. And it's related to loss of revenue due to ADA. But we're in a different world now. We can't have the same thing where somebody's up here telling me 1 week, you are responsible for loss of ADA while you guys are putting 100 kids on a week. It doesn't all add up. Lose the rhetoric, turn positive. This place is awesome. But yeah, mischaracterizing me, I don't take well to it. Wasn't that wonderful? It's pitiful that I have to say these things. But again, there will be links up there where you can like click on it, go, oh my God, he's right. And I'll even give you this stuff for you to read too, if you really want to waste your time. We've done most of this. We're on the way up. Let's keep it going up. And negativity, just put the skids to it, okay? I can keep giving these lessons all day long. There's a lot more, but I won't. Brianna.
I want to start by thanking Emily for your detailed report. That's always my favorite, to hear what's going on in our schools from somebody that's actually in our schools every single day. So thank you very much for letting us know all the great things going on in all the schools. You brought up stuff that I didn't know was happening, like tardy sweeps, and I'm a tardy person all the time. I was tardy today. Being on time is hard, but man, it's so important for school. So thank you, Dr. Chamberlain, for trying to counsel kids through that and letting them know ahead of time, hey, this is why this is affecting us, and making a positive change. Being tardy is hard, but I know teaching kids at a younger age to not be tardy will help them in the future, because I was able to attend Lackawanna for the cheer fundraiser last night. It's always fun to do Lackawanna nights, because there's so many people that come out that you get to see, and it's more like a social hour than actual dinner. So that's really fun. I hope it was a great turnout for the cheerleaders. I'm excited for whatever team or group is doing the next one, because I will be there too. So I just want to do a huge thank you to Lackawanna and to all of the businesses that continue to support our kids. We have so many businesses that support our students, that support our youth leagues throughout all of our schools, whether it's soccer or Sierra or softball fundraisers or anything. I just want to really stress, instead of going out to Antelope Valley or out to Santa Clarita, try to keep our business here and shop at our local stores that are supporting our kids, support the businesses that support our kids. It's so huge, and they will continue to give back. So thank you again to Lackawanna and they did a football fundraiser. So thank you for supporting our cheer and our football. I was able to attend the football game. You might have heard me there. It's so much fun to watch. I get a bird's eye view and to watch all of our kids. There's Metal Art kids and there's High Desert kids and kids that don't go to our school that are coming back and hanging out with their friends and our cross-country drum line. To have one sports team support another sports team like that was really cool to see. So thank you to everybody that comes and supports our teams. The dance was a huge success. So thank you to ASB and to Vasquez staff. I'm really trying to get to things at Meadowlark and High Desert. So far, I've only been to the volleyball games for High Desert, which are so exciting. If you're looking for something exciting to do, come to our championships that will be held at Vasquez. They're really exciting to watch, and those programs that are so good in junior high are going to build our high school and just make our high school sports even better. So I know that our cross-country team that is winning, placing first place, those kids came from High Desert cross country, not all of them, but they are building and coming from High Desert sports and building our Vasquez sports, and that's so important. I'm excited to get out to more of those and just see our awesome kids. Oh, I want to send a shout out to the two people that sang the national anthem at our homecoming game. We had Roxana Cruz. She's an 11th grader at Vasquez. She sang absolutely beautifully. And then we also had an alumni, because it was our homecoming game. We had an alumni come back, John Cogan. He was the class of 2020, that class that didn't get the rest of their senior year. They didn't get a proper graduation at the end. Last minute, they were double booked. So they didn't know that the other was showing up. So about 10 minutes before they sang, they stood outside the announcer's booth and they practiced together and they worked it out, and they gave me chills and they made me cry, and they just sang so beautifully. They did such a good job. So I just want to thank them again for having for taking the time to come out, and then also having the guts, and then being so professional about being thrown completely through a loop and still making it happen and making it absolutely beautiful. And Mr. Sparks, I don't know if he's still listening. Coach Sparks is somebody who I respect so much, both on a personal and a professional level. He's made a difference in my children's lives and in my life and in the lives of everybody around him. And he continues to do so every day. So when Coach Sparks comes, and when Mr. Sparks, the ATA president comes and speaks, he always apologizes, and I never take it to where he's belittling me or telling me what to do or talking to me in any kind of a rude way. I feel like he's trying to make that connection. And that's something that I respect so much, that when you can take some negative feelings and bring it and try to make the connection and trying to make it work and build it for the good of his entire, all of his colleagues, his entire union. So I just want to say, Sparks, I appreciate you so much. And I rub people the wrong way too, so I get it. But I just really appreciate you. That's it.
Well, first off, I want to welcome you, Emily, and glad to have you here as our student representative. So I'm pleased that you're going to be here. Look forward to your reports. If any time that there's a cross-country practice or you have some studying to do, your parents say you have curfew you have to get back for, and we adults begin to talk on, you can exit at any time. So don't feel like you have to stay for the whole time. But we really like you. Appreciate you being here. So congratulations again. We'll send her home at a reasonable hour. She doesn't have to stay and listen to her. I arrived late after officiating volleyball to the football homecoming, and it was great to see the crowd of people there for homecoming. The canteen was open and there was a lot of really good spirit going on. It was really terrific to see that under the lights there at the high school. And I stood as the floats came down, and I don't think I've ever saw, I think it'll be a record, more kids on a float. There were kids everywhere on the floats. It was really terrific. And they would stop and they would get off, we gotta get going. And it was fun to watch the frivolity and all the fun that they were having. And I was surprised, I think it's the first time that I'm aware of it, that there was a float from High Desert there, which was kind of cool. The kids were having a great, they didn't care, they were having a great time. And then very creative, some parent was pulling a boat and Acton. Now that's great decoration, have a speedboat, a ski boat there, and then everybody's doing it. So it was terrific to watch that happen and take place. And it was a fun night. And I know the score wasn't what everybody wanted, but those all things come with hard work and continued practice and preparation. But we're on the burners now. We're getting it back in with our students at our fall sports, football, cross country, girls volleyball, getting them back and getting the school started as we recover and get back into class. That was fun to watch. Let's see where I'm at here. And then of course, people recognize that the High Desert Athletics, that is really important. That's going to be our feeder to our athletes as they come to the high school. And the girls volleyball is in season now. And I know, I think don't they have cross country going too? They're running? Just started. And the volleyball, and I'm watching as a coach and an official, I'm sitting there watching and to watch the fun that they're having and the anxiety and the thrill they have. There was a young man that was serving and he got a kill or he got a serve over and he would just, hey, settle down, we got a game to play. He was just so excited. So it's that building of that potential of exposure where they can participate on a team sport and know that they can build credentials and skills so that when they move to the next level that they can be on the team. And that's something that's really great. Don Schneider and all of our coaches over there at High Desert, congratulations there to get that going forward. All right, here it is. I'm always appreciative. I know that teachers get PD all the time, and I'm really glad that we're offering PD to our classified staff to help them get better at what they do, the tools that they can have to be more effective and receptive to the community and to the support of the staff on the site. So I was pleased to see that. Now, I have Ms. Monahan here and Dr. Chamberlain here, and I want to make sure that you understand, and I'm sure you do, but I want to repeat it again. Please let them know that all of the board members, myself and everyone, we are so appreciative of the hard work that your staff is doing. Your classified, your support staff, you management people and your teachers, what they're doing for our students. There's a lot of concern about the classroom sizes. The HR is working on that. We're competing with districts from around, and you know that, but we're doing everything we can to get teachers in place so that we can mitigate these crowding things so that we can still have successful classrooms like Ms. Scheiding is doing and the crew there, because we know that there's Scheiding juniors over there that she's being like, there's one sitting right next to her. Yeah, there we go. So please convey to your staff that we are, and I am very appreciative of all the hard work that they're doing and the coordination that you're providing and the opportunities to think outside the box as teachers to respond to the student needs and stay with the curriculum, stay with the content standards. But there's always that gray area in the classroom where they can spring something new and do something new. I recall when I was teaching, they would come to my health class. So what are we going to do today? And I go, well, we're going to do health. But it's going to be a different kind of health. And so we would always be creative to respond to the student needs. They're doing it at Meadowlark, they're doing it at High Desert. Dr. Chamberlain, you're new at the high school, and we're appreciative of all the hard work that the staff is doing there. The frustrating job about this job that my colleagues and I support here is that we approve requests and we kind of guide requests. We don't make anything. We don't get to direct anything. We get to filter, we get votes, and we do all these things here. So the frustrations are that we'd like to move a lot faster than we can. We'd like to, but like Mr. Paulsgraf has said, that there are certain rules and guidelines that we have to follow as board members, the Brown Act and things that are kind of like, if we were in my classroom, I'd be doing a ton of stuff. teachers understand this. They do a lot of creative thinking on the classroom. Administrators do a lot of creative thinking on the campus. But when it comes to the governance of the school, then there's a lot of restrictions. That fence is pretty tight. And we don't have a lot of flexibility. We have some exceptional, we have a businessman and HR and our superintendent that are working their tails off. They do take questions from us. I converse with Dr. Zahaki on a frequent basis, and frequently Bill can pick his ear about what we're doing about this. I pass him notes when I hear things. So when we have comments about staffing in classrooms, those are things that are close to all of the board members, Dr. Zahaki, and I know they are with the site administrators, that we're working our tails off to, and I say we, not me, but staff over here, HR, and the teachers on the campuses working their tails off to make sure they can accommodate what we ask them to do and meet the student needs. And when we flood, when we fall down, we get back up and we get back at it. So I appreciate your comments, bringing it to our attention. And for each comment, we still have conversations. I've already passed him a note. I want to know what's going on, an update on this. So these are things that he and I talk about, and I represent the board, and then the board members talk to Dr. Zahaki themselves. Again, thank you for everybody. Thanks for your hard work, Abby. Crystal, thank you. And make sure you let Max know that we'll be looking for great things from him as he goes through his career. And again, thanks parents for allowing Emily to be with us at the represent on the board for students. And just to note, Mr. Wadsworth had notified me that he had a conflict, work schedule. That's why he's absent tonight. All right. Oh, Dr. Zahakian, we're at item 9A, but Dr. Zahakian has a update. Dr. Zahakian on the consent calendar.
Actually, I was overzealous and got wrapped up with the medal recognitions and celebrations. Part of my superintendent report, on a monthly basis, we are highlighting new signature programs within the district. So I just skipped over that, and I want to recognize Dr. Chamberlain and Mr. Anthony Salcedo for being here and being so patient. If the board could accommodate me, if I could go ahead and interject one piece of the superintendent report. I'd like to highlight a signature program that is well underway at Vasquez High School for this current academic year called Project Lead the Way. And I'd like to call up Dr. Chamberlain if she could provide us an overview of Project Lead the Way along with our science teacher, Mr. Anthony Salcedo. Please, thank you.
Make sure that mic is on so our Zoom people can hear. Might want to hold it close to.
Let's see. Okay, thank you. And Mr. Salcedo, thank you. I'm so sorry. So really, it's really all Mr. Salcedo. He's one of the Project Lead the Way teachers. So he volunteered to come and speak on the project. I just want to say as administrator of the school, these classrooms are amazing to be in when you come visit these classrooms. The essential question and the guiding standards lead the lesson, but the kids are so engaged. Like what I know is right away, I can tell a difference. It's just so engaging. And so Mr. Salcedo is going to tell you more about what the teachers are doing.
Thank you everyone for having me. Thank you everyone for having me out. Three teachers are obviously me, Mr. Tabbitt, and we're going to go with Mrs. Shabby because her last name is impossible to say. So this is actually, yes, like Ms. Chamberlain said, it's very engaging, very project-based. For example, in my engineering class so far in 4 weeks, we've had 3 different projects that we've encompassed already. I'm gonna speak a little bit about the other 2 classes. This is what PLTW covers. If you're seeing it here, if you're seeing it at home. The gateway program, computer science, are more like the middle school level. We're covering the engineering and the biomedical science on the bottom part. So Shadi and Tabbitt are covering the biomedical part. This year we have principles of engineering for this school year, and then next year we're looking to add introduction to engineering design as well. So we offer both of those in unison next year. So I'm gonna speak a little bit about the engineering course. So to start off the year, we had what was a engineer interview. We had every student paired up with an engineer in the community, mainly the community. Mr. Fallsgraf helped out with that as well, and I want to thank you for that. We had mechanical engineers, civil engineers, aerospace. We had computer engineers, everything that the students needed came out from the community to help out, and they were tasked with interviewing these engineers, asking them about their career, how they got into their career, the education behind it, basically as an introduction, so they can get a feel of what they were getting themselves into and the background needed to get there. The next project we did was based on simple machines and complex machines. So basically they were tasked with having to create a complex machine that used 3 simple machines to lift a 1 pound weight, a total of 6 inches in less than 3 minutes, which was actually pretty easy for them. They did it all in like 30 seconds. So congratulations to them. They were doing that in groups. And then this last project we're currently working on is they're looking at different energy sources. So whether that is renewable or non-renewable sources like coal, oil, wind, solar, they are tasked with in groups, basically covering those sources and creating a slideshow presentation. So that's currently what we're working on, and I'm excited to see how those projects go. Thank you.
But don't go anywhere. Board members have any questions for Mr. Salcedo?
No, I'm just really excited. That's, I'm familiar with Project Lead the Way, and I just think it's fantastic. So thank you. And I know it takes a lot of extra on your part to plan all those lessons and plan everything out. So I just want to thank you and your team. And thank you for engaging the students. And I think it's so important for them to have those critical thinking skills if we're going to get them ready for college and beyond. So thank you so much.
Mr. Salcedo, thank you for imparting my punishment on the engineers I work with at work, who hate me because they want to kill my trees. They see them as an obstacle. And so I turned them over to you. I hope they were somewhat helpful to you. They had to engineer, they put in a 5 million gallon tank, and I made them build like a bathtub around 4 palm trees. And the price went through the roof, and who knows what. My director was saying, I can't believe the control you have over trees. But the trees were really important because the villas at the MGM Grand in Vegas modeled their pool planting around these 4 trees. So I had a laugh. I said, you know, the least you can do when you're done killing my trees is help give a kid in my community a future. So I hope one of them did something for you. This is killer stuff. This is what puts, you know, this idea that you're just going to go to college. So because your parents want you to go to college, that doesn't do anything. This kind of gets people to thinking and saying, okay, maybe I can, you know, make money doing something that I can create things and do things. So I appreciate this very much. Thank you, sir.
I want to thank you for doing what you do in the classroom and on the campus. And thank you for sitting here to show us what you're doing. A lot of times what we see is the idea of things, and we don't actually get to see the implementation until somebody like you comes and says, this is what we're doing, and breaks it down for us. So thank you so much for doing what you do and for sharing what you do with all of us. I know you're making a huge difference, so thank you.
I think it's absolutely exceptional that we teach our students content, reading, writing, arithmetic. You need to learn this stuff. Well, why? Why do I need? And this is the kind of class where they can apply their math skills to a particular engineering project. Oh, I remember that. That's why I learned that. Oh, it's really great. So these hands-on projects, creative projects, critical thinking, teamwork that you're doing, I think is absolutely exceptional in engineering. I'm really keen on the biomedical science, and I'm a health person. There's all that stuff that goes in there. So I kudos to you and the staff for doing that and getting this working. I have one question for what is for your engineering staff, what is the current student engagement? How many are in the class right now?
Right now we have 9 in the class, so it's actually a pretty good teacher-student ratio in terms of starting the class off. We're looking to grow, like the ideal number is like 15 to 20.
Right.
So that way you're not losing too many, especially for a PLTW type class. Most of the numbers are in that sweet spot of 15 to 20.
Right. Well, your students are gonna be your ambassadors. They're gonna go through one semester and they're gonna go out and tell their younger brother, friend, whatever, and then the next semester. Get to the point where you'll have to manage it really well, but thank you to you and your staff for doing this. It's really, I really appreciate it and it's good for the students. Thanks.
President, I forgot something. When you file your grievance for being sat out in the audience with Mr. Spark, know that I was pushing the whole time for you to be at the front of the presentation, and it was the other board members. So please vilify one of them instead of me this time. Thanks.
One more thing. So the videos, we have videos that we posted. Actually, it's on the, if you're not following it, the counseling Instagram. So if I don't post it or share it out to the community page, go ahead and follow the Vasquez Counseling Instagram. So they'll share the videos out as well. I believe it was on their story. No bias there or anything, but
Well, one thing I'd like to invite you to do with your engineering project in the class, if there is a particular project that they complete, a unique, or they do a really exceptional job, book time and come down here and show the community what they're doing. We'll put them up on so that let the kids show it to the community, bring them in and let them know. Because I know I used to do health PSAs and we would display it for the board and the community to see. So they get to see it outside. Call, get some recognition for those students. Anyway, keep up the good work. Appreciate it. Thanks. Item 9A, approval of a consent calendar. Do you have a motion to consider?
I'll motion.
Brianna,
I'll second.
Kelly. The consent calendar is going to include items 9B, D, E, and F. B is a regular board meeting from August 11th, 2022. D is minutes regular board meeting on September 8th, 2022. And E is the warrant register for ratification. The item 9C was pulled and will appear on another agenda. Dr. Zahaki.
Do we include item F, master contract?
No, sorry, item F2, yes. The master contract, the Academy for Advancement of Children with Autism.
I want to have a brief discussion about the autism contract, please.
Yes, board member discussion, Ms. Jensen.
I don't have any comment.
Mr. Falter.
This master contract, is this for a sole student or is it for district-wide services or both?
This is actually for both. It's a non-public school
Good,
agency that
thank you.
provides services.
Thank
as well.
you.
Brandon, do you have anything?
I don't have anything.
Hearing nothing further, call the question.
Kelly Jensen, I.
Falls Graph, aye.
Brianna Texoni, I.
Tim Jorgensen, I. Mr. Wadsworth is absent. Motion passes 4-0. All right. 10A, personnel action report. Motion to consider.
Kelly Jensen, so moved.
Kelly?
Falls Graph, second.
Dr. Zahaki.
Just want to share that we do not have any addendums to the PAR. What was posted 72 hours prior is what you have in front of you.
Board member discussion. Hearing none, call the question.
Mr. Mirza, all these positions that we're putting on, some not that are discovered as we go with enrollment increases, have they been factored into your budget for the second interim report?
Yes.
Thank you.
Any further board discussion? Hearing none, call the question.
Kelly Jensen, I.
Falls Graph, aye.
Brianna Texoni, I.
Tim Jorgensen, I. Mr. Wadsworth is absent. Motion passes 4-0. 11A, induction program. Dr. Zahaki.
The new teacher induction program provides new teachers to the district with information tools in support of their instruction in the classrooms and as well as their professional development within the district. We have a short presentation that will be provided by Ms. Shah, Assistant Superintendent, and Ms. Nicole Chun-Tosa. Thank you.
Good evening, President Jorgensen and fellow board members. I'm here and let's pull it up. Ms. Chun is hopefully on the other end of the Zoom there to do this with me. I just want to say that when I came to the district, I think Ms. Chun was one of the first people I said, do we have an induction program? And she's like, no, but funny you should mention that because I've been trying to get one of those going. So she and I have been working on this for a couple of years, but COVID kind of put a stall on that for a little bit. And actually, we have an induction mentor and an induction mentee right there in the second row for you to see. And so we got it going this year. It's awesome. And so I have Nicole on the other end there that she can do our little short presentation for you to let you know about it. So
good evening. I hope I can be heard and that my internet is doing the job.
Yep, loud and clear.
Perfect. Next slide, please. So induction is how most teachers with their preliminary credential clear their credential. It provides a second tier of preparation and support for our newest teachers. We all know that in a time where recruiting and retaining teachers is really hard, it's even harder for our new teachers. Teachers, by and large, leave the profession within the first 5 years. And so this added layer of support is critical to helping support keeping those newest teachers in the classroom. And I'm really excited to share this because this is the first time since 2013 that this district has had a comprehensive induction program. And so this has been almost 10 years in the making for me. So I'm very, very excited about that. Next slide, please. So just a little overview. We are partnering with the Center for Teacher Innovation provided by the Riverside County Office of Education. They provide us with a program manager and credential analytics support to help ensure that our new candidates are guaranteed that they will clear their credential. As part of the program, our candidates have weekly cognitive coaching with a local coach or a coach provided by the program, depending on our needs. They'll develop individualized and professional learning goals, and they'll attend workshops, receive supports. We also can support our teachers with all of those important assessments that they need as part of getting their credential, including the TPAs and RECA. Over the course of the year, they'll do 4 cycles of inquiry and have an opportunity to participate in observations. This can be an observation of the candidate, or it could be the observation attended by the candidate of a master teacher to learn some best practices. Next slide, please. So by the numbers this year, I have to say, like I said, this has been very exciting for me because it's been a project. So when I first got my dashboard, I literally took a screenshot and sent it to Ms. Shaw. I was like, it's really real, it's live. We have 7 candidates enrolled in our program with 4 of our local coaches, Ms. Scheidig being one of them, and she's there with her mentee, yay. And I'm serving as a coach as well at Miss Owens at the high school and Marilyn Alford at the middle school. And then we are taking support from CTI as well. We have 2 cohorts because we had some teachers who are eligible for either the early completion option or that have come to us with year 1 completed. And so they will finish year 2 with us. And then we have a second cohort of our candidates that will complete a 2-year program. And on the docket, we have 8 future candidates between people who are either interns or people who are postponing induction. So it's definitely a program of great need for us. Next slide. So just looking forward, 1, mark your calendars. We will have our first colloquium May 25th, 2023, prior to the board meeting to celebrate our inductees. And also just trying to look at the power of this program and how we can build further support. So we're looking at the classified grant program as an effort to support classified staff who may be interested in pursuing teaching credentials, as well as looking for other ways to kind of take the ideas of this program and the cognitive coaching of this program and expand it out beyond just our new teachers, because everybody could use an opportunity to work with a mentor or a coach. And to me, honestly, the experience is reciprocal in benefit. So that's all I have to share. Thank you so much. And I really want to thank Ms. Shaw because a lot of people sat in her office before for the 10 years that I've been trying to do this. And I would say, hey, I really want induction. They'd be like, well, that's great. But they never let it happen. She empowered me. She supported me. And I want to thank Mr. Mirza. He found the money to pay for it. So I'm just really excited to share that. So thank you.
Thank you. It was quite a team effort.
Board member discussion.
Mrs. Shaw, just very briefly, can you, for the public, I don't think people know, I think people think people become a teacher and they're just put in a classroom. Can you explain how people clear their credential, or just a brief clearing your credential? Because I don't know that everybody understands that teachers have more work to do when they become a teacher.
Right, they go to school.
Yeah, they go to school and we give them
a
keys to it.
preliminary
Yeah.
credential. And then you get a job and you're teaching, and then you have to clear your credential. So there's additional work you still have to do, right? So now with the induction program, they have a mentor and a mentee. The mentee is the actual new teacher. You have 5 years to clear your credential. So with this program, they get to work and clear their credential, right? And the mentor works with her. They do a certain amount of hours of observations and classwork, so to speak, together. They do observations, videos, those types of things. And then after those 2 years are finished, they turn in all their things, and then the state says, woohoo, you're cleared your credential, you're finally a teacher. And then every 5 years you paid money and they let you keep your.
It's a lot of hours. And Mr. Sparks was in here earlier today talking about, TOSAs and about how much they do. And I was writing down the list, and I understand like people like Mrs. Chun and the other TOSAs have a lot to do, but I don't know that he put coaching on there.
Oh, and coaching, the minimum hours is 23 or 28, 28 hours minimum that she has to do. And Nicole Chun took 2 mentees, so that's 28 times 2 that she's doing. Gabby's only doing 1 because they're on the same grade level. It's not that you don't. And Metal Art didn't need an additional person for her to do, or she would have done another one.
So just so people were listening, there's a lot to do after you become a teacher. And then you get a classroom, you have so much work to do, and those cycles of inquiry are not easy to do. There's a lot to it, data, things like that you have to do. So thank you for hanging in there, and thank you for choosing. You could have chosen any district you wanted because you're a teacher, but we thank you for choosing the Acton Agua Dulce School District. So thank you. And thank you for doing that, because that adds a lot of work too, as when you mentor. I understand that. And I hope someone in the room was listening that's very positive and was introduced tonight. No one under pressure. No pressure. Looking at that grant program that we will be trying to get. So wonder who that could be. So hopefully we're paying attention to that slide. The person will be, no, I won't call that person out. I'll just look at them. So hopefully we're paying attention. Mrs. Chun, if you're listening, thank you so much. And I said earlier that I would like Mrs. Shaw to communicate with you, because I didn't know you were going to be on, how much we know that you really do and how much you support our district. So thank you for all your time and talents.
Thank you.
Okay, when I read this, I thought induction program, that must be all the calls that the Vasquez office management team is making to new parents on behalf of Principal Chamberlain. Could we ever talk about that maybe? That's awesome. Awesome. Okay. So, Miss Smiley, that's you. My nickname's Stick. Despite what you may hear, other districts are terrible, dismal, awful places to work. Store that one. And imagine my surprise, Miss Shaw, that the only time I've ever heard anything positive about you is through some osmosis process in a glorification of Miss Smiley. Miss John, yeah, you were Tammy's homeroom teacher 19 times. I'm glad they got you out of the classroom and into doing this so you can make other people as professional as you were in the classroom. Thank you.
Thank you.
Wow, she spoke to me.
Just great coaches too. I don't, tell me your name. I'm sorry. No, it's not Miss Money.
Oh, it's Miss O'Brien.
Miss O'Brien. You are blessed to have this woman in your mentor. So, yes, thank you. You keep paying attention, girl. You keep paying attention.
This is an incredible program. So thank you, Nicole, for bringing, for wanting to do this for 10 years and then actually seeing it to fruition. That is awesome. Thank you, Ms. Shaw. This is an awesome program for our district.
Nicole, keep up the good work. I know. Because I remember way back when we go to PDs and you would say, oh, we gotta do better with these PDs. And we were attendees then, and there was always something in the wind. You were always thinking of something. And so this may be the one thing that's going to be the one that we're going to recognize you for the most, and along with your hard work in the classroom. Now you're doing it, helping other teachers. Because Ms. Shaw, thanks for the teamwork with your team to get this done. I can identify with what you might be going through, because as I work with Cal Bakersfield to go around, I have 8 candidates spread around the high schools. And I go into their classrooms and I see them sometimes struggling, sometimes trying to go through. And I'm just there observing and trying to get tips. And I don't know whether they're engaged in induction programs and whatever schools they're in, but some really terrific young people with a lot of energy. And they go, are you recruiting me? And I go, yeah. So when I see good candidates, I keep saying, well, just go down the 14 freeway, exit Crown Valley, go down there. But I don't care. So anyway, it's always important. And Miss Jensen has it absolutely correct that teachers work hard to get that basic education, get their education courses, and then they go their student teaching and their internships and whatever. But then they get into the classroom, and that's where they really need support, like Ms. Scheidegg and some of the other coaches to help. Don't get overwhelmed. I have 15, 20, 30 kids in the class, and I have to meet all their needs. And there's a lot of organization that got all this content in their head. Now they got to apply it. And I think induction program like this is going to be really setting us apart. So it's going to be super. Thank you again for all your hard work. Item 12A. 22-23 budget and LCAP approval notification.
I'll move.
But I don't think it's not an action. Dr. Zahaki.
Thank you, Mr. Jorgensen. On September 13th, you and I, we did receive a formal approval from LACO regarding our 22-23 LCAP plan. And it was approved based on 4 criteria items as outlined in the letter: adherence to the State Board of Education template, sufficient expenditures to the budget to implement the LCAP plan thoroughly, adherence to the expenditure regulations, and calculation and implementation of carryover funds. Mr. Mirza, any comments?
No, I'm just glad to see it got approved. Can you pull up the letter on the screen, please?
Board member discussion.
Go down. Okay, here we go. Back up a little bit, please. Let's get to the part about declining enrollment in charter school funding and liability. There we go. That's what I'm looking for right there. Do we see what it says? It says that we're responsible for our charters and the negative effects of things they do financially. That will come back on this district. How many, time to play, how many lawsuits can you handle today? How many $250,000 settlements coming out of charter schools can you absorb into your bus fund? Mr. Mirza? 0. Thank you. Is that clear to everyone? Okay. I'm
Ms.
good.
Jensen, anything? Brianna? I just want to point out that the hard work Dr. Zahaki and I looked through here when I was reading through it. And based upon our review, we have determined that the district's LCAP meets all of the criteria that's approved. I know there's a lot of work that goes into this, a lot of forethought and thinking and proposals. And then like what Mr. Fallsgraf says, it doesn't absolve us of any responsibility. It says, but we think everything, it looks good. So congratulations and thank you for your hard work on the team, Dr. Doc. Oh boy, I almost said Dr. Azar. You're not even taking appointments. Thank you, sir. All right, contract for bus trainer. Motion to consider.
Kelly Jensen, so moved.
I'll
Kelly.
second.
Brianna. Dr. Zahaki.
I just wanna, I really wanna publicly thank soon to be Dr. Mirza. He's really cast his net, not only within the Antelope Valley, but to the LA County at large in terms of possible bus driver trainees. He's been on the phone quite aggressively, trying to recruit individuals as well as a certified bus trainer. So thank you, Mr. Mirza, for your efforts. We recommend that the Board of Trustees approve a contract for a certified bus trainer, Ms. Lisa Patterson, to train new bus driver trainees.
Board member discussion. Hearing none, call the question.
Kelly Jensen, I.
Fallsgraf, aye.
Brianna Texoni, I.
Tim Jorgensen, I. Motion carries 4-0. Mr. Wadsworth is absent. Item 12C, memorandum of understanding MOU between VHS, Acton Agua Dulce Unified School District and LA County Department of Parks and Recreation for school-sponsored recreation. Motion to consider.
I'll motion.
Brianna,
Fallsgraf, second.
Ken, Dr. Zahaki.
LA County Department of Parks and Rec pushes out an MOU to LEA school districts for the utilization of their facilities at any given time. And this is for the 22-23 school year. Exhibit B within the MOU also provides, and it's in the attachments, a current list of fee schedules for anything that the district would like to utilize within Parks and Rec, be it a rec room, be it a theater room, what have you. So we're recommending that the board approve the MOU between our district as well as LA County Department of Parks and Recs for school-sponsored programs.
Board member discussion.
There's protections in place. This is a facility use agreement. Is it reciprocal? Do we get to use something over there for our swim team? Oh, is this the part where they're finally gonna build this swimming pool at Vasquez? I didn't think so, thanks.
Yeah. So this is just fee-based. This is not trade-off or gifts in kind, our facility for your facility. Okay, like we used to have with softball field. Now that we have our own, we don't have to do that. Okay. Any further discussion? Hearing none, call the question.
Kelly Jensen, I.
Fallsgraf, aye.
Brianna Texoni, I.
Tim Jorgensen, that motion carries 4-0. Mr. Wadsworth is absent. 12E. Resolution 2022-2302 authorizing. Did I miss something? Oh, it's down at the bottom. 12D, sorry. Acton Agua Dulce Unified School District Charter Policy. Dr. Zahaki.
I'll move this in.
I'll second.
It's a first read, so it's just Dr. Zahaki. It's not an action.
Thank you, Mr. Jorgensen. 12D, it was an item that was previously pulled at a previous board meeting. There was a request to have a red line version of the changes that were being proposed. That has been provided to our trustees. And we do have our Director of Charter Services on the Zoom call if there are any questions for the first read item. Thank you.
Board member discussion.
I do not have any questions at this time.
I'm the one that pulled it in hopes that the charter policy and the adoption of the charter policy update could be made sometime when new board members are seated, but it appears that, correct me if I'm wrong, this is a requirement of the state auditor's office.
Yes.
Yes. The state auditor be involved in your school finances is not usually a good thing, right? And this goes back to 3 school districts being targeted by the state auditor's office to feed evidence of an evidentiary chain in the San Diego case where Judge Link ordered that this district pay back $750,000. Do you know how many buses that would buy, Mr. Mirza? 2, 3, maybe? Anyway, the state auditor, despite we have been compliant with what they want, has suggested that we continue to do this annually as a means of promising that we're not going to go back to rogue charter funding. Would that be, forget the word rogue, but they want the assurance that we update our policy every year. So we're aware that Judge Link said that what was happening was illegal, maybe. And within this, I printed this up myself, very computer literate now. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different criteria that the state wants assurances of. And the one, get this, think about this, to better ensure effective oversight of charter school finances, Acton Agua Dulce Unified should place a district representative on as a non-voting member of the board of each charter school. What a novel idea. Imagine me sitting in their board meeting, running through their numbers and doing what they're doing. Maybe I could, that would affect the way I'm characterized in the newspaper as causing all of this. Anyway, it's my fault that this got pulled back early. I'm not trying to exclude the new board members. I just wanted them to own what they're buying or selling or whatever it is. But anyway, that's why the first read is now. What I would ask is that any of our charters, that they are provided with this and they're encouraged to stand up there or appear on Zoom if they have a problem with any of this, would be my ask. Thank you.
Okay, that's first read, so books. 12E, resolution 2022-2302, authorizing use of remote. Sorry. Resolution 2022-2302, authorizing use of remote teleconferencing provisions, AB 361. Motion to consider.
A motion.
Brianna,
Kelly will second.
Kelly. Dr. Sahaki.
Thank you. On a monthly basis, we bring this back to the board. This is for district to continue in a hybrid mode of providing our board meetings in person as well as Zoom. Thank you.
Board member discussion. Hearing none, call question.
Kelly Jensen, I.
Paul Giamatti, aye.
Brianna Texoni, aye.
Tim Jorgensen, I motion carries 4-0 with Mr. Wadsworth being absent. Item 12F. CalShape Resolution 2022.23.03. Is this an action item? Motion to consider.
A motion.
Brianna,
Kelly Jensen, second.
Kelly, Dr. Zahaki.
Thank you. This is CalShape is a grant to replace our HVAC system at 2 sites, Meadowlark and High Desert, just based on age of the facilities and equipment. Mr. Mirza, any comment?
Yes, so
Excuse me,
this
did you
will,
say High Desert and one. And then High Desert.
yeah, so last year you got approved Alco Systems to come look at our facilities. And there's a California grant out right now. And so they analyze our facilities, and Vasquez does not qualify because it's too new, but it was recently built. So Meadowlark and High Desert, this will replace all their main HVAC systems on the roof. And then also it takes care of the urinals and toilets at High Desert with Meadowlark as well. So it's plumbing and HVAC.
Board member discussion. Hearing none, call the question.
Kelly Jensen, I.
Paul Giappi.
Brianna Texoni, I.
Tim Jorgensen, I motion carries 4-0 with Mr. Wadsworth being absent. Item 13A calendar, the next board meeting will be October 13th, followed by October 27th. Future agenda items. 14A, board member discussion. Hearing none.
I just have one, I don't know if it's appropriate, but I'm gonna do it anyway. I asked for this Masters of Governance to be put on the agenda a few meetings ago, if you recall. Someone said, oh, just how about a Brown Act? I'm like, no, I think it needs to be Masters in Governance. So I don't know what all the rhetoric is, and I don't know where that's coming from. I don't really want to know. I just want to say that I think it's important that people really understand how a board works, and I'm not going to be here, but I think it's important to know what your role is, and I'm not quite sure why anyone would object to being a learner when we're sitting up here representing education, why you wouldn't want to learn what your role is, because you definitely have one. And I'll never forget the first one I attended, and they very much talked about staying on your side of the fence. And when people get on the other side of the fence, it gets really messy. So I'll just leave it at that. And so I'm not sure what the rhetoric is. I'm not really familiar with what people are talking about this evening about what's going on, but it's important to know your role if you're going to serve our community and stay on your side of the fence.
Okay, Masters of Governance training offered by the California School Boards Association is not this. And not everybody, the first year on the board, you might not be able to go. You have jobs, it takes time commitment. You used to go in person on Saturdays, but that's its whole thing. You have 3 board members up here that are graduates of that program. This is sit in the room, have a lawyer sit here until you can get to the next level of training. This is somebody sitting here in public, and the public should come to this. If you have any ideas about serving on a committee, serving on a site council, serving in a parent group, it wouldn't hurt you to see these things, because that way there's an accountability. There's this idea that the old board, you could just come in and pick me up, say, hey, you know what, take care of this for me. Everybody gets taken care of, but nobody gets taken care of through that system. So this training here that Kelly is talking about is a lawyer. When a lawyer gives you training, that is significant, but they come in and they do a basic governance, tell you the things that you do and don't do. I was talking about closed session, some of the things we're talking about, the rhetoric. December will come, there will be documents back there, and some of the chirping will stop, hopefully. But they basically outline this for you as to what you do and don't do, and then cover the Brown Act. That is something completely different. I'm advocating for that training to be made available to those board members and potential board members who don't have it. But I fully support all of this. I will be here. They accuse me of walking the razor blade of the Brown Act, but I will be here, guaranteed.
I don't have.
I know that we can arrange for legal counsel to review Brown Act guidelines, but that's a public session. And that's all good and well for outline, but the Masters in Governance by the CSDA that we were privileged to attend on Saturdays, it covered everything. And we would sit in this big room, and there'd be districts from all over. Palmdale School District was there, and everybody was there. And it gives you it's just like being in a classroom. If I'm going to learn something from a computer, I'm just going to read it and memorize it, and I'm going to get it. But when I'm in a setting with my colleagues and there's Q&A and discussion and clarification of issues, we learn a lot more. And so I know that I had spoken to you, we asked about Masters in Governance and about we have to wait until the district can't pay for it to arrange it, but now it's virtual, that we would make it available to our new board members coming on so that they can have that, because it takes a lot of the questions, and it just gives a lot of clarity of what we can and cannot do and do not say. So the master's in governance yeah, success comes when you go through that and complete that. Makes it a lot easier, even then it's still frustrating, but in
Tim, clarification. I'm not saying it's a requirement that people who are going to be on the board attend this training. At minimum, they need to be here for the lawyer in the room. And it was surprising to me when we went to this training and saw the other districts, I actually appeared to be in the higher functioning group, if you can believe that. Do you remember we looked at each other and went, we're not such a mess.
we thought all these other districts, boy, they really have a lot of work to do because we were on transitioning to clean up and get things back on track. And we went to the training and we're sitting there going like, we learned a lot. But then we learned a lot about that. We have a lot of potential here in our district has really got that unique opportunity. So yeah, we were going, oh my gosh,
I
really?
think it's unfortunate it's virtual actually, because it was great to be there as a team as well, but.
Yeah.
I actually started to look into that and I think it's, the first session was virtual and it's like 8 to noon on a Monday or a Tuesday, which I just started.
Isn't there two different cycles going? There's another cycle for off hours, like on a Saturday or something?
I did not,
Anyway,
I didn't see this.
I just think it's something we should approach.
You know what? It's most meaningful if someone's at least looking at it and trying to arrange to go there. And if it's not this year, it's next year, whatever. But somebody just kicks back and says, well, you know, I've been this and I've been in Beverly Hills for 21 years and I know everything about governance and I have more experience than all of you. That's just ridiculous.
And we've never said it was required. We're just suggesting it to
Yeah.
have a high functioning board. That's it. We
Yeah,
could drop it, but yeah.
I am the one board member up here today that has not done it, and I am looking forward to doing it, so I do appreciate that it keeps being brought up and it's at the forefront of our.
But you have been here less time than I was before I finally took it.
It is hard to work in, but it's
Yeah.
definitely important for our board. and
Plus,
for our
at the
district.
time, we were facing financial bankruptcy and I wasn't gonna go spend money on training. I left that part out.
It is expensive. The Brown Act, workshop was really, really helpful for me when I first started. But I know that I didn't like it with anything. I didn't retain everything. So doing that again and doing that with new board members would be very helpful.
I think that if we can coordinate with CSBA, that during an off election year, we have board members that, because during election year, everybody's kind of like waiting until, and they want to offer it before we have our board members sworn in. So they're not eligible to participate. You and I have talked with this, that we can figure out that they gotta, one of the suggestions we can make is that, okay, you need to have this more frequently available in our area, so we don't have to travel so far to go. Okay. Item 15A, adjournment, motion to consider.
A motion.
I'll
Brianna,
second.
Kelly, second, board member discussion. Board member discussion,
No.
no board member discussion. Call the question.
Kelly Jensen, I.
Falls Jeff, I.
Brianna Texoni, aye.
Tim Jorgensen, I motion carries. We stand adjourned at 9:30. Yeah.